and welcome to the Ready for Happiness. Today we're going to talk to Michael Harris again, and we're going to talk about emotional state management. Hi, Michael. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. My emotional state is very, very good. That probably wasn't funny, but I thought it was. Hey, what are we going to talk about today? Let's dig a little deeper into this emotional state management business. So last week, what I remember and what I took in was that the real key to emotional state management is if you have an emotional state that is inspiring or gives you access to your peak performance, then you can actually put yourself into that emotional state anytime you want. And so that's what you really want to talk to us about, and we want to dig into that a little bit deeper. Is that what you want to talk to us about today?
I want to talk about people don't ever take the time to practice being happy. You know, they don't take time to practice being confident or being effective or efficient. They kind of just like throw themselves into different situations, and then they're surprised when they feel fear, or they perform poorly, or they're in a learning mode. I mean, I think that we talked about this before. I think the best time to make good decisions is when you are stable, when your life is stable, your relationship is stable, your job is stable, and you're not walking between two buildings on a 2x4. You know, so I thought today we would talk about, you know, we spoke a little bit about accessing these primary states, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about scripting, because you literally can script success. You can script performance. I have a client that I was working with her last week. And you know, just so you know, we don't do names and stuff like that, but I'll tell you about the situation. This particular person is an athlete, and one of the things that I was noticing about how she did what she did is in a practice session, she was very associated. She's very used to that environment. It'd be very similar to you and I going out and just throwing frisbee at your favorite course. You know, you're familiar with the course. You know what's coming around the bend. You know, it's no big deal. Okay. But if we went to a world championship frisbee golf tournament, and this is the very first time that you are playing, and you're live on CNN or you're live on whatever sports channel that they telecast frisbee golf on, do you think that might be a little bit more nerve-wracking, a little bit more distracting?
Yes, and I thought a lot this weekend in the tournament that I didn't play, but I did a lot of observing. And it's funny, I was thinking about emotional state management all weekend as I watched these people play. There was one hole where you have to throw like over a creek and through some trees, and it was just really difficult for people. And so I watched their emotional state, like I could hear them coming up to the tee pad, and I could see them, everybody was getting confident, or at least trying, and then they'd hit the tree or they'd do, and their emotional state management would just tank. It would just tank. And, you know, so I got to see that in action. But talk to me a little bit more about this person. Like, okay, you said they were in a practice setting and they're 100% comfortable. What did she do? Did she go into competition?
Yeah, when she went to competition, because it was a new environment, it was causing her to rather be in her body and be in her normal mode. She was all up in her head. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever played golf, but you can't play golf in your head. You have to play golf in your body. And this particular athlete is a gymnast. And I had somebody teach me a balance beam routine. And let me tell you, your perspective completely changes when you're up 4 feet in the air and you're walking on a 4-inch beam. And I'm a big guy, and it makes everything different. So what I had her do was I had her first I had her visualize each apparatus, and I had her do her routine forward and backward in her head. And it was kind of interesting to watch her face as she was trying to, you could see her little brain working as she was trying to figure out how to do those moves backwards. But once her brain could visualize it, she could do it forward and backward rather quickly. So the next step was I had her do each of the 4 apparatuses forward and backward 5 times. And then I had her visualize it forward and backward, and only this time with her eyes open, which is a little bit. It's a little baby step, because you don't want to be standing on the golf course, Kathy, with your eyes closed. People will wonder what's wrong with you.
Well, they already kind of think something's wrong with me, but they love me anyway. But I do get it, you know. Now, okay, talk to me a little bit more about this whole visualization thing, because
Well, let me go ahead and finish. Let me go ahead and finish what the solution was. Once she had the ability to do the visualization forward and backward, then she could do the visualization forward and backward with her eyes open. The third solution was for her to visualize herself in the specific gym that she was doing the competition in, so that when she had a competition on Saturday, and what she was to do was to go to each apparatus and to see herself, you know, literally in the movie doing her series on each one of those apparatuses. The only thing that changed around her was the environment. And once you get where you can visualize, whether it's making a basketball shot or throwing a frisbee or hitting a golf club or doing gymnastics, once you can take that visualization and you can transplant it into any environment, then you have the beginnings of mastery when it comes to managing your emotional state. I mean, you and I both speak, and you're familiar with your topics, I'm familiar with my topics. What makes it different is, all right, well, what's the difference between you and I talking on this video chat versus you giving a presentation at Super Bowl during halftime?
Right.
The reality is that there is no difference. Okay, the only difference is your perception. So if you're a speaker or you're a salesperson and you've always done one-on-one presentations, one of the things that you might want to consider doing is practicing your sales presentation if you're going to speak to a group, or if you're going to give a presentation to the executive board of a company, is you might want to practice that speech forward and backward and forward and backward, where you're visualizing the whole sequence. And then you go to the next step where you're visualizing the sequence with your eyes open. And then the third thing is that you're changing context to context to context. So the real trick here, or not a good word, the real technique is to break this into small enough steps where the brain can actually learn what to do, then learn what to do with its eyes open, and then by changing the contextual environment, you literally can compete or you can perform in any environment that you choose.
Nice. Nice. Okay, so how did she do in the competition?
I haven't heard from her yet.
Okay. Post on Facebook. We want to know. If you guys want to connect to Michael Harris on Facebook, do facebook.com/Dr. Michael Harris. That's his fan page.
It's actually Dr. Michael Harris fan page.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, that was. I can't change it, and I've tried. Like that was that was one of my stupider moments where I put fan page on there. But oh well.
It happens. It happens. I've had to do a lot of changing of Facebook over the years too. Okay, what we have to do is we have to close up for today because I want to leave a little bit more for next week.
Okay.
What you have heard today is you've heard the solution of emotional state management. Michael has walked you through the exact process that needs to happen regardless of whether you're a gymnast, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a business person, whether you're a student going in for that test. What you want to look at and what you want to examine for yourself is, okay, in any given situation, obviously all of us want to show up as the same individual with the same amount of confidence. The truth of the matter is that we don't. We don't show up everywhere with the same level of confidence no matter who we are. And so when you replay this video, I want you to look at it and I want you to write down those steps that Michael has shared with you because we're going to give a lot more information next week. Michael, is there one parting thought that you want to leave with the audience so that they can start practicing this? And
well, I'm gonna write a blog today. I'm gonna post both of these videos up there, and I'm gonna write the 4 steps down. And probably by next week, I will actually have a product that they can purchase. You know, and if they we'll give them a super code like Happiness Chick or whatever, and they can buy it for $10.
Nice, and we'll have more on that next week. You know how much I love products.
Okay.
So yeah, next week we're going to talk about some products. I want to go ahead and talk about some of the other stuff you have. So you gave me a really exciting opportunity. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to say so long for now. Thank you, Michael, for being on the show with us today. And we'll talk to you next week at the same time. If you want to get to know Michael, if you want to visit him, www.drmichaelharris.com. And if you want to see more about Michael, just go to my Facebook. It's www.facebook.com/happinesschick. And you'll see Michael all over my Facebook because I have big love for Michael. Thank you so much, Michael, for transforming my life. I am blessed to be able to share you with the world.
Thank you.
Bye.